All right, morning folks, Blair here again. And this morning we are going to be running you through some beginner level skimboarding tricks. We're going to be starting out with the pop shove-it, both backside and front side, the 180, both backside and front side. In learning a lot of the easy skimboarding tricks, you're going to want to start on the dry sand, or you're going to want to start on a very flat area that has just a thin layer of water. And that's going to be easiest just because if you fall, you're not going to be going very fast and you'll be on dry sand, which is good. To start learning, what I tell a lot of people is to build a little mound of sand, and you basically just plop your skimboard on top of that mound, and that'll allow you to spin your board below your feet. And that's the best way to learn by far. Some kids will learn on their carpet in their living room. That's awesome too, I did that as well. But I'm gonna recommend the sand mound if you're at the beach. So we'll just do a quick little sand mound. That's a pretty good sand mound. You plop your board on top of that, get it kind of balanced on there, and you don't want to step on the back or else your board's gonna plop down onto the sand. So step on, get balanced on your mound. Whoa. So we're gonna start with learning the backside shove-it. And the backside shove-it's gonna be spinning in the clockwise direction if you're regular. So it'll look like this. And then if you're goofy, we're gonna go like this. If you're goofy, it's going to be spinning counterclockwise. So it'll be like that. The key thing to the backside shove-it is it's pretty much all in your back foot. So when you're doing a backside shove-it, all you're doing is you're moving your back foot and you're kicking it this way. It's just a really simple motion of you're basically just flicking your board. Really simple, flick. So your front foot's kind of just staying stationary. We can go into frontside shove-its. So if you're regular, when you do a frontside shove-it, your board is spinning counterclockwise. Sometimes people find this direction to be easier for them when they're learning. I would kind of recommend starting with the backside shove-it because it's going to be easier to learn more difficult tricks down the line once you have your backside shove-it down. But a frontside shove-it is just going to be same thing with your back foot, but instead of kicking it this way, you're now kicking it this way. So you're flicking your board the opposite direction and the board is spinning counterclockwise. So frontside shove. Whoa, we'll do a better one than that. Keep your foot placed kind of in the center of your back pad and just flick your foot this way or kick your foot this way. All right, there we go. That one was better. So I do like a little flick with my front foot as well. There you go, yeah. So that's the basics, the shove-its, front side and backside. I would also recommend when you're doing these, make sure that none of your friends are really close to where you're flicking your board around, because if you get this board to the shin, it's not fun. So yeah, just make sure you have your distance from your buddies. That's pretty much stays true for anything you do with skimboarding. Make sure that you're kind of a safe distance away from anyone in the water or on the dry sand. We don't want to be hurting any civilians out here. Now, I think we can start taking it to the water and practice those pop shove-its on a thin layer of water or wet sand. And then we'll also run through some other tricks down there. So now that we've practiced those tricks on the shove-it mound or on dry sand or on your living room carpet, you're ready to go practice them down on wet sand now or on a thin layer of water. So we're just gonna find a good place to practice those tricks, and I'll kind of explain what you're looking for when you find a good location to practice them. Here's a good place where it's not too sloped. You want kind of a flat beach, and you also want this wet patch right here. So you want this wet sand and you want some waves washing up like this. So just like that, practice those shove-its. All right, so we're just gonna run you through that backside shove it, frontside shove it that we learned on the shove it mound. And then we're also gonna go into some kind of basic skimboarding tricks that are not shove it. And they're more pop related. So you're gonna have to learn how to do like a skateboarding ollie. Another thing when you're doing these is your board is gonna actually lift up off the water if your foot is back here, if it's really close to the tail of your board and you do that flicking motion, your board's actually gonna pop up off the water a little bit more. If you don't want your board to pop up as much, and oftentimes it's a little bit easier if your board doesn't pop up, you're gonna basically flick from a little further up the board. So move your foot a little further up and the board's gonna stay nice and flat. So we'll run you through that. We're gonna go flat. Whoop. And then we'll go through a frontside shove it. When I'm gonna do a frontside shove it, I'm gonna run this way. And it's a little just easier, it makes your life easier to do a frontside shove it with the slope of the beach like this. Hopefully I don't fall on this one. So remember with that frontside shove it, it's actually more difficult for me at least than the backside shove it because I'm using my front foot a little bit more. I'm kind of like doing a minor flick with both feet. Just make sure that the board stays centered beneath your feet and you should be fine. Now we're gonna kind of explain how to pop off of water, and it's gonna look similar to an ollie in skateboarding. And you need to be able to do this in order to do more advanced skimboarding tricks later down the line. And instead of going back and forth on the flats, I'm gonna actually go out into the water a little bit because you need a little bit of deeper water in order to pop off of it. So, all right, we're just gonna start with kind of like a little ollie pop. Hopefully I can do those. Woo. Woo. All right, one more time. When you're doing an ollie, you're pushing down on your back foot so your nose of your board lifts up. And as soon as the nose of your board lifts up, you're kicking this foot forward. So what it's gonna look like in fast motion is kind of like something like that. And that is what you're gonna need to do pretty much any air tricks in skimboarding. So now we'll do the backside 180 and frontside 180, which is going to be doing that ollie motion, popping your board out of the water, and then moving your shoulders so that the board spins below your feet and you spin with it as well. For the frontside 180 and backside 180, you're gonna wanna practice them on a little bit deeper water. So that means you're going at more of a diagonal direction so that you're going out into the water a little bit deeper. Whoa. That one might have got the mic a little wet. Mike boy, I need help. So the backside 180, you're starting your rotation with your upper body, and you are gonna be turning your back kind of towards the ocean, which you actually shouldn't do if you're just out down on the beach. Don't ever have your back towards the ocean because a wave might come and get you. But when you're doing a backside 180, you are gonna be turning your back towards the horizon kind of. So using your upper body and doing that ollie pop and then rotating your shoulders. All right, now we'll do a frontside 180, which is very similar, just you're gonna be spinning counterclockwise. And hopefully I don't get the mic wet this time. So you're waiting for a wave to break, wash up. We've gone over that lots of times. You might wanna make sure that the water's flat before you run out and do a frontside 180. All right, and if you missed how to time going for a wave, you can check it out at the link. Might be over here, it might be over here, I'm not so sure. One of those. It's kind of easier to do a backside 180 when you're already running diagonal and you're gonna spin in the direction you're already going. For a frontside 180, I'm gonna wanna be also running the way I'm gonna spin. So my chest is facing this way and I'm gonna spin this way. Backside 180, I'm gonna wanna run that way and I'm gonna wanna spin that way. All right, frontside 180. Whoop. Frontside 180. Woo. So something I just noticed with the frontside 180 when I do those is it's a lot of pivoting around your front foot. So you're winding up your shoulders, and you are basically gonna wanna be trying to spin the tail of your board around your front foot. So you're kind of doing this motion. It's very similar to skateboarding. If you know how to do it skateboarding, almost identical. So spinning that way, using your upper body as torque to spin your board. So hopefully I explained those pretty well. It's definitely more difficult than it looks, and I think you'll get them once you just keep on trying them. And that's it. That's all we got. If you'd like to watch some other videos on how to skimboard, if that's your thing, we hope to help get you out there this summer. You can check them out over here. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do that right on over here. It's a pretty good one. Not really getting better at those. That's all right though.